Welcome back to another episode of Tack Room Talk. I'm your host, Josie Young. Got my co-host with me, Chance Shootnick. What's happening?
Hey, I'm excited to be here. I got to come up with a different line.
Yeah, you got to come in. You got to come in a little different there, bud.
I know. I'm happy to be here.
Happy. Motivated. I'm motivated. I'm going to be intentional with this talk today.
Yes, 100%.
I think we need to be intentional with this talk because this is kind of a hot topic. We're coming into springtime, buddy.
It is, and this is something that I think every horse and dog owner does. They should be doing, and I hope they learn something today, so that way they go about it in a little bit more intentional way. Because I think, especially this subject. I mean, we just have done it our whole entire lives, but might not be intentional or have a lot of information on to make the best choices for our horses or our dogs on this subject.
Yeah, at Silver Lining, we have such an extensive line of products. And with that takes some education, right?
Absolutely.
We don't expect everybody to just pop on our website and know exactly what to get. That's why we're doing what we're doing. We're doing these podcasts. We're doing the live videos, the socials, the groups. Everything is to try to get our message out. The topic we're gonna talk about today is our number 13 Herbal Wormer. You know, what it does, how it does it, and why you should be doing it.
Yeah. Excuse me. It's something that, like, I think about my own life. I mean, we dewormed our horses and dogs our entire life. But we just did it in the spring and fall because I knew that's what we were supposed to do. We use chemical dewormers. We had, the delivery system to that's not ideal for sure. In fact, I had one horse, his name's Doc, and he's 26 at our house. My son rides him now, but we had to actually pinch him between two panels and put a board, like kind of like a stock almost, and get him because he hated it so much, And so then when I had a conversation with your dad for the first time and learned Silver Lining stance on it, it's like, well, this makes way more sense, and this is way easier delivery system. Like, this is something that the horse would actually enjoy because this is what he would do on his own, So it's like, I didn't know what I didn't know,
Yeah. I mean, he's screaming at you like, "Hey, I don't like this stuff. Why are you doing this to me?" And it's actually scaring him as well, right?
No, it was dangerous for him. It was dangerous for us. And I mean, I feel so barbaric when I think about that scenario now. But I think I hugged failure in that.
I was just about to say we're getting a return on failure right here because you learned from that.
I learned from that, and it wasn't a good experience for him. It wasn't a good experience for me. And now knowing what I know, I can improve upon what I was doing, my habits I was doing.
Yeah. So one thing for certain with Silver Lining products is that I want everybody to know is that variety is key, and it doesn't matter what product that you purchase of Silver Lining, every single one of them has variety. That's what we're doing, is putting variety back into the horse's system. So when they, this is a specific product for, getting rid of the worms and parasites out of the horse's system, right?
Right.
But not just one herb is going to do that. It's the variety together that does the whole job.
Exactly.
So Chance, why don't you tell us a little bit about how this product works, what it does, and what our philosophy is on that.
Yeah. So, I mean, like doing like your traditional paste wormer and dewormer and things like that, we've always been told to do, rotate our dewormers, from one brand to a different. And that's because those different dewormers are species specific. So we're just going after strongyles, or we're just going after bots, or we're going after tapeworms, or whatever that is. But the beauty about these herbs and the way that your dad formulated this product is we're making a non-conducive environment to the worms, parasites, and protozoa, so they simply want to leave the body on their own. And a great analogy that there is of that is if we had a junk pile full of rats and mice. I took your dad's and your story and changed it just a little bit because, your dad's story and your story was always like, if you had a junk pile full of rats, you wouldn't get rid of the rats. You'd get rid of the junk pile and rats would leave on your own. And I add the mice into that because, that's what our chemical dewormers are doing, is because they're just going after the rats, or they're just going after the mice. But the better thing to do, again, is to get rid of the junk pile. And then the rats and mice will leave on their own. There's a reason why in this room right now, there's not, spiders and mice and things like that, because there's not a conducive environment for them. This is a clean environment that's not conducive for that. So
I just want to make sure there's no spiders behind me.
I should have hung a spider right there and put that on cue.
Yeah.
And the same thing for our horse's digestive system or our dog's digestive system.
Yeah.
If it's not conducive for them to be there, they won't be there. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's a process that we're never going to stop. Of course, you know, they're always going to be coming in.
Well, it's a cycle that is actually needed for the horse, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, this is nature. This is nature doing its course. You just don't want an infestation.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Yep.
So everything in moderation.
Yep, that's exactly right. And so that's what we're doing is moving them out. There's some killing going on with like the wormwood and clove and things like that are happening there, but there's awesome digestive herbs in there that's cleaning up that debris and that matter in there so that there isn't that conducive environment.
Yeah, and it's healthy. I can say this. I mean, you look on the side of chemical wormers out there, it says do not administer without eye protection and gloves. It's like, why the heck would I want to put that directly into my horse's system if I can't even get it on my hands or in my eyes?
Yeah, and secondary poisoning too. I just talked to a customer this week, in fact, that her dog went blind because it ate the manure from the horse that was given the chemical dewormer, and therefore it caused a liver issue causing blindness in that dog.
Yeah, so you think about that, the filtering organs for the horse's system, you know, first the liver with the blood and then the kidneys with the urinary tract. I mean, that's the filtering system that cleans the horse out and keeps things rolling the way it's supposed to. So when you're putting more chemicals into the horse's system, those things become congested. It's hard for the liver and the kidneys to keep up with all the congestion, which then creates a whole nother realm of problems, right?
Absolutely.
So our idea is, hey, let's do it in a healthy manner. It's very effective.
Yep.
Works extremely well. The horses love it. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not forceful or anything like that. And then you don't have to worry about secondary, you know, poison or anything like that. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, and you know, the other thing, just the process of elimination is so gentle. You know, when some are dead, like I said, but some are alive too. So if there is an infestation, our risk of impaction and colic are so much lower because there's not just a bunch of dead parasites and worms being passed out of the body. And so, you know, I think you have a story about a dog that passed. I had to bring it up.
Yeah, that was one of my grossest times and moments in my life. And I've got 2 kids, and I've changed a lot of diapers and throw up and things like that. And that doesn't even compare to what I went through that day. So I had a dog that had a big infestation. This is like, I was younger, and you know, I didn't listen to my dad as much as I should have and keep up on my maintenance stuff. And I think I was probably 17 or 18 years old. And we were out roping, and I seen something just hanging from the back end of my dog. And I was like, what is going on there? So I got off my horse. I went to the side of the arena, and I called the dog through the fence. And when the dog jumped through the fence, I bent over to grab my dog, and he had such an infestation with tapeworms, and he was passing them through, and he had a huge pile of them coming out of his rear end. And when he jumped through oh my gosh, I'm about to gag. When he jumped through the fence, those tapeworms flung up and smacked me across the face. And I when I realized what it was, I mean, of course I was like, oh my gosh, that is the grossest thing. Went to wiping stuff off. But anyways, it's very important to stay up on these maintenance things. I learned at a younger age that we need to do that.
Yeah, no, for sure. And like you'll hear us talk about that, to, you know, 2 to 4 times a year is an appropriate amount of times to deworm your horses or your dogs, and to stay ahead of it. You know, we're not going to stop it. So we want to make sure that we're keep that moving throughout the body. So, you know, if in your colder climates, 2 times a year is most appropriate, and warmer climates, 4 times a year. And I personally do it whether I feel like my horses and dogs need it or not, just for that preventative reason. But I don't limit. We live in colder climate here in Idaho, and so I don't limit myself to 2 times a year. I'm going to be doing it more often if there's a reason I see a horse rubbing their tail head or be a little pot-bellied or something to that degree that make me believe that I need to use it.
That brings up a great point, though. You know, you talk about being preventative with it, even if you suspect it. So that's what's so cool about these herbs is that they are so healthy. I mean, they're 100% utilized. They're recognized as food, right? Let your food be your medicine.
Yep.
So if you suspect anything, go ahead and give it to them. It's not going to hurt them.
Nope.
It's going to make them healthy.
Yep.
Right. So, opposed to the chemicals and things like that, you kind of have to know, like, you've got a problem because you're afraid of overdosing or,
Yep.
you know, making the horse sick or whatever it is. So that's what's so cool about the herbs. One thing that I get a lot is when, you know, sometimes when people start on the wormer, they're like, I see worms in my horse's manure. I thought this was supposed to help. And what is your answer to that, Chance?
I think that's what the product is supposed to do.
Yeah.
It's supposed to pass them out of the body. And so there's an elimination that's happening there. And, you know, that's a good, so we suggest to do it for 10 consecutive days to disrupt that egg laying cycle and pass that infestation out of the body. And
when is that? Like when do we recommend that?
Yeah. So we recommend it 10 days prior to the full moon because it's known that that's when parasites are most active. About 5 days prior to the full moon, they're actually detaching from the intestinal lining. They're ovulating and breeding at that point. So it just makes most sense to move them out when they're most active.
But are we stuck to that?
We're not stuck to that. So like if you need to deworm your horse or your dog, just go ahead and do it. Don't have to necessarily follow the lunar cycle, but that is definitely the most optimal time to do it. I mean, I pay attention to it, but I don't just, you know, focus directly on that, you know, so.
Yeah. No, perfect. So that's why we're here. We want to educate. We want to make sure that you guys understand how to use that. It's an awesome product. Does a very good job. It's healthy, recognized to the horse. Horses love it. Your dogs love it. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just a great product. And so we just want to share this with you guys today. And we're glad that you guys tuned in and happy that to have you guys as listeners on Tack Room Talk. And we're going to be back at Tack Room Talk with some awesome guests, some awesome topics. And we hope that you guys keep listening in. And until next time, we'll see you then. Adios.